AMD. He will share insights on technology advancements. Please welcome Mr. Koul.
I'm sure you know about AMD, so we have been into this semiconductor business for about a long time, and our AI journey or a high performance journey is what I'm going to cover today. More specifically, I would say last about 7-8 years of AMD journey has been quite fabulous, and we've been having leadership performance, leadership products around the globe, and we've been quite successful in doing so. Now, this is just a snapshot about what AMD is all about. We are close to a 55-year-old company now, with 22,000 employees across the planet. What are we trying to do? We're trying to solve some of the world's toughest challenges. And we had challenges in 2020, if you remember all of us. And we really had a lot of scientific institutes to get the COVID genomics so that we can bring the vaccine much faster. We also touch your lives on a daily basis. I'm going to cover that in my next slide. But a lot of people have that assumption that AMD means it's desktop and laptop. I think we've moved much ahead of that. And you will see some of the latest work we have done in India as well as in the globe, how we have been performing on that. I think these are the places you see an AMD product today. May it be a 5G or a cloud, you see AMD's presence quite considerable in that space. 5G, we are the only guys who have biggest server deployments in India for a 5G platform. Gaming, visualization, simulations, the AMD has been known from the day we acquired a company called Radeon. Artificial intelligence, I think this is a buzzword which is there for a while now and it's going to continue. All of us are evolving with this, and we, being a hardware company, are a bedrock of all the work or processing which is to be required on doing the AI. We have some demo zones here which will help you guys to really figure out how it helps you on a daily life and how does it help you to bring in some productivity increments. Adaptive intelligence system. This is again, if you look at automotive companies who are trying to have autonomous cars like Tesla, we work with them for their infinite system as well as for their sensors. Chandrayaan, for example, we were a small part of that project as well. Our products got used, for the landing purpose. And smart devices, I think this is a known stuff for a long time. We are there into workstations, desktop laptops, and all this stuff. Now, these are the major IPs we have today. If you look at it, it's Zen 4, which is a core architecture. And I would say the fortunes of AMD changed the moment we came in with this new architecture called Zen. And this was completely a high-performance, general-purpose compute, what we developed. And we use the same technology across all products. RDNA, again, it's for GPUs. XDNA, CDNA, AI is the buzzword now. What we are trying to integrate is the CPU, GPU, and the NPU together in a single die. And that's where, the XDNA comes into the picture. We have a leadership IP there and we continue to do that. We are uniquely placed here, to be very honest. It's just not the CPU. We have FPGA, we have AI engines, we have DG3 CPUs. We have across the board products today available. Packaging, again, I think this was one of the biggest game changers. I'm not sure how many of you guys have seen the CPU in the life, but this is how an unlit CPU looks like. This is close to 96 core CPUs in a single die. And just to give you an idea, it's a power of about 10 laptops put together. And this is how a CPU looks. And what we did was, if you see, there are small golden color cores there. We, rather than making one big core, we made smaller cores. And that was called a chiplet technology. When we adopted it, everybody said that it may not be the right fit. But if you look at today, it's 5-6 years from now, everybody is adopting the same technology. Because you can't build a big silicon product. Your bigger, smaller ones, connect them together, and that's how you drive the performance. This is what we did on technology perspective, and it also helps to scale. Now we have 96 cores, we have 128 cores in a single die. That's where we are able to, be ahead of the curve and, be ahead of our competition too. Now that's our revenue slide, which is, I'm quite hopeful you can see the chart there. We have a $5 billion company about in 2015-14. We are a $24 billion company today. A share price of $2.50 has moved closer to $140. I'm the oldest employee, so it gives me a lot of pleasure saying this. It's $150 today. Market cap, I'm sure it's an eye-opener. Our market cap is close to $80 billion more than our competitor today. $80 billion. That's a huge, big number. So they are at 170, 160, we are 240 kind of a market cap. That's how we have evolved in the last, I would say, a decade now. And we continue in this leadership. It was said to be in the past that this leadership of AMD normally may be a spike, but I think this is going to be about 10 years now, so we really proved ourselves very well. This is 2015 versus 2023 chart, and if you look at where we used to stand, we were $2 billion market valuation, number 18 semiconductor company in the world in 2015. And since then, we started growing, we became number 15, 7, and if you look at 2023, end of the year, we are at number 3rd, fastest growing semiconductor company. That moment of time, it was $184 billion, today it's about close to $130 billion. And you can see most of the semiconductor companies, of course, NVIDIA is at a different scale and trajectory today, we accept that, and we're moving on the same direction as well. While we grow, what actually happens from the perspective of what's spending back on the research and development, how the employee strength has gone. And why I'm showing you this slide is there's 25% of the employment from the total employment of AMD is out of India. We have a design center out of India in Bangalore and out of Hyderabad. Close to about 6,500 people working out of just 22,000 people in India. So that's a lot of employment as well. And plus what we are also doing is, we are putting the same money, whatever we make, back into the research and development to stay ahead of in the race. This is Semicon 2023, last year, it was in Gujarat, and our CTO made this announcement. So I just wanted to share you some glimpse of that.
Recently met with Prime Minister Modi during your visit to the United States at the White House. And today, I am pleased to announce that AMD will invest approximately $400 million in India over the next 5 years. The planned investment will include a new AMD campus in Bangalore, which will serve as AMD's largest R&D facility in the world. Our investment will build on over 2 decades of growth and successful presence here in India. We started in India in 2001, 22 years ago, where we had only a handful of employees. And today, we have over 6,500 employees and an additional 3,000 partners and contractors.
That's the announcement we did last year, and we continue to, excel in terms of setting up the new design center out of Bangalore. One we have already done, and next is in progress by around next month, October, November time frame, we will be having that. Now, this is a roadmap which we set somewhere around 2017 to the market, and we are on track with that. In a semiconductor business, I think that's the most important thing. What we say and what we deliver makes a lot of sense. And if your execution is on time, people appreciate that, industry appreciates that. Now, how is it different today? What we have realized when we started with one processor in server business, and we realized that every user or every segment of market requires a different kind of a product. And if you look at the 4th generation CPUs, there are 4 different CPUs for 4 different markets. There's a CPU for telco, there's a CPU for high performance, EDA workload, there's a CPU for cloud native, and there's a CPU for general compute. So we are not trying to put in one jacket to everybody. It's more in terms of getting product basis the requirement of the customer. That's a big differential factor today in the market when we go to the market and try to sell our products. I'm sure a lot of you guys who have been using cloud use either of these cloud service providers. Most of these MDCs in India, outside India, use AMD EPYC as well. As quite a considerable part of their business is right now running on AMD EPYC. Most of us, and I would say almost all of us, use these tools on our daily routine. These are all powered by EPYC today. EPYC is our processor. Office 365, Teams, any collaborative software you talk about, it's running on EPYC today. That's how we have grown, and that's how our market share has also grown. If we look at the journey, we started in 2017, as I was saying, we were just 2% of the market. 2023, close to about 31% of the market. That's how we've grown. And if you look at the chart here, every time I come up with a new generation of product, my market share takes a steep jump. And we're coming up with the 5th generation soon by next month. And I'm sure we're looking for touching around 40% of the share. And these are the numbers which are very similar to what we have in India as well. If you look at it from India perspective or worldwide perspective, the fastest supercomputer in the world is today powered by AMD. The fastest supercomputer in India, which is run by Ministry of Earth Science for weather forecasting, is getting deployed as we did talk on AMD, which is close to about 5,500-6,000 servers. So that's happening based out of Noida as well as Pune, which is a research company. The UPI you use, NPCI is the company who drives that UPI. A lot of back-end work happens on AMD. So that's where, we have gone from 2% to close to about 30% plus. Now this is just to give you a flavor in terms of, a lot of times people say that, I may look at AMD, but, I'm not sure whether my software will work. But guys, be assured, each and every software today is certified on our products. So you don't have a challenge of, thinking that there is any legacy software which may not work on it. Everything is quite certified, and there are deployments around for most of these softwares. And they're segment-wise. If you're using on an HPC, these are the major softwares. If you're using an OS or for that matter, an HCI orchestration layers, each and every ISV from that matter is quite certified on our products. So you don't have to really bother about that, and that's not a big challenge for us nowadays. While I've touched something around how we are doing on the server space, next couple of slides I'll just take you through what we are doing from the client perspective as well as what we are doing on the AI. Now if you look at this chart, how does it differentiate between our competitor and today? We have GPU accelerators which are used for high performance compute and AI, where you do the training. We have embedded products which are basically bought a company called Xilinx about some 4 years back, and we are very well placed in that segment where people use these kind of cards for their more specific AI workload. EPIC, the processor. A lot of times when we talk about AI, there are two parts to AI. One is training the module, one is inference. Training is done on a GPU and you derive a model. Inference is done on the CPU. That's how both are placed in an AI space. Again, AI-based sensors, which are embedded products, what we are selling in the market, and Ryzen. We are taking AI just not from cloud, it's not from an AI data center. We are also taking AI to the client. So you will see the products coming on AI. Today it may not be a mainstream product on AI, but I think going forward next 1-2 years time, as we evolve more use cases on AI for a daily routinal work, you will see AI PC as becoming the flavor of everybody. That's a product which competes with NVIDIA, and the product is called MI300X, which is the fastest graphic unit today available on the world. It has close to about 192 GB of HBM memory just within one GPU. You can imagine there are 8 of them put together as a single module, and the kind of performance it drives is crazy. We have close to about 5.3 terabyte of memory bandwidth. These numbers what I'm showing is, these are highest today in the world. And this is the product which is used by most of the guys for generating generative AI modules, either in cloud or for that matter on-prem. This is how the roadmap looks. So we're moving from 300 series to 325, 325 to 350 and 400. So quite a very strong, robust plan for us in the space of AI. And this is a bedrock of generating the modules. Once you have your own in-house data, how do we really utilize that data and generate these modules for a betterment of the AI for your own organization? The other thing which AMD believes very well is, while you have a broader portfolio from CPU till GPU, from client endpoints till the server, we also give an open and open software ecosystem. We really believe that that's going to be the very important factor for people to look at us being in an open ecosystem. And a lot of people in the world believe that the open ecosystem is the way to go, and we also endorse the same. This is a Ryzen part now, which is just a couple of slides on my client part. Ryzen is I think a brand name which has been well established, quite a familiar name today on an engineering or I would say high-end workstations wherever they are required. So what does Ryzen AI does more than a normal Ryzen CPU? It helps you to bring in better multitasking, better productivity, collaborative tools, For example, I was just discussing at my booth to somebody that you keep having collaborative softwares, and there are times, you don't look at camera. But, if it's AI enabled, the camera looks at you and make sure the other person always feels that you're looking at him, rather than diversifying a bit on right and left, depending on, the work you do. The other use case, what we also found was that you have an AI-based collaborative tool and you are having a discussion with some customer. Imagine you don't have to make the minutes of the meeting. It does it for you, and it tells you the action items and generates that page for you and sends it to you via an email. These are the use cases what is going to happen with collaborative software. Now, could it be done on a normal PC? Yes or no? But if you are trying to do that in a normal PC, it eats up your battery very fast because it uses a CPU cycle. It brings a lot of latency and slowness to the machine. But if it's an AI-enabled PC, it helps you to generate that much faster way. So it's more efficient that way, and it's more secure that way as well. This is the basic difference between a normal CPU and an AI-based CPU. So if you look at, there's something called NPU, which is nothing but a neural processing unit. And it's going to evolve, over a period now. You will see next, I would say 1 year, you will see a lot of new products coming up into the market, and everything will be more or less either from AMD or our competitor, AI-enabled. But there is a separate CPU which we are putting in the die now for clients, and this is what is going to make the big difference for going forward for AI, I would say, adaptation. Yeah, so these are the places where present: laptop, desktop, workstation, a bit of a Chromebook as well. But in Indian market, what we have seen is desktop, laptops, and workstation are major buying pattern in India. So we have Ryzen series of products and Threadripper series. Today, the last product I'm showing, Threadripper. Any movie which is being rendered today is rendered on AMD Threadripper. You take Red Chillies, you take Yash Raj, you take any of the production houses in India or worldwide, because this is the fastest computer on the world today. Even your Google Map, they use AMD Threadripper to get you the instant information on that. Just for a broader people here, this is a comparison, which is again a feedback from a lot of our customers, which said that it should be an easier one when we compare Intel versus AMD, because that's the nearest competitor. You have a Ryzen 3 versus i3, a Ryzen 5 versus i5, or a Ryzen 7 versus i7. Very easy. You don't have to really put in efforts in getting beyond that kind of information. These are the comparisons, makes life easy for everybody. This is the core of the technology, and if you look at blue versus green, we are moving from close to 40 nanometers to about 405 nanometers. But this is the core difference between how we manufacture the product and how our competition manufactures the product. They're still at 7, we moved to 5 and 6. Now, how does it help? It does not bring just the performance to you, it also brings efficiency. So you don't have to eat a lot of power, you don't have to generate a lot of heat. This is where the big difference came in. And if you look at, this all started here, and since then, my market share, my acceptance, everything started growing. Because we did not just make faster processors, but we make them more efficient. That's the key difference between us and them. That's the roadmap for us on the client, which is quite robust. As I said, it started with Zen, and we're moving to Zen 5 now. Most of the customers, I think, in the government sector, education, I'm not putting the corporates here, but if you look at BFSI, I think we're close to about 60% market share in that segment. Education is again, may it be Madhya Pradesh or maybe out even whole of India. We're quite focused in that segment, and that's where I think most of the education deals, AMD is present and have been delivering products around that. PSUs, government, I think we are part of all those discussions we have, and we're getting quite a level playing field, so we appreciate that support from all the people around here. Thank you very much.